Hello and welcome back to Katawa Shoujo! We have started Act 2 of the Shizune route. And, that's pretty much it. We saw the little animation and we saw that Misha was gonna be sad. And, so already we don't like this route very much. The next morning I recall what a perfect night last night was, so much so that I can't stop thinking about it. It's probably not the most appropriate time to reminisce since I have a test first period. It's so unfair. How can they do this? They hold a festival that is the culmination of what was at least a few weeks worth of work on a Sunday and then follow up with exams starting the very next morning? It's gotta be some kind of sick joke. I'm not too worried about it, but I wonder if they really couldn't have held off on this for at least another week. At least do it on a Friday. Well, at least the weather this morning is nice enough that I can study outside before class. It's a lot more refreshing out here than it would be in the classroom, not to mention with how quiet it is. I'm starting to think that everyone else will be sleeping in pretty late today. I put down the notes I'm reviewing for a second and stare out at the school grounds, still littered with festival stalls. Looking at them now in the daytime without paper lanterns or crowds of people to draw my attention away from them, I noticed something peculiar. A lot of the stalls that Shizune and Misha and I visited last night also happened to be ones that we worked on. That's cute. Did Shizune come up with this? It had to be intentional, especially knowing her. Did she hope that I would catch on and see the fruits of our labor? I mean, they did say that that's what they were doing. I hear footsteps crunching the grass behind me and turn around. I feel slightly paranoid, but all I find is Shizune standing there with an innocuous look on her face. Meh. Good morning. Why do I keep forgetting that she can't hear me? It's probably because I've gotten so used to Misha translating for both of us that I haven't actually run into many situations where I was forced to acknowledge Shizune's deafness and the problems that can stem from it. I think yesterday was the first. I give her a wave anyway. I can do at least this much, but I'm not even going to pretend for a minute that I could hold up a conversation with her, considering my ignorance of sign language. Would it be rude to just go back to my notes? I don't really know what else I could do. Where's Misha? Meh. Not just because I can't understand you, you two are always together anyway, so I'm not used to seeing you apart. I know it's silly, but for some reason talking to her makes me feel less awkward. Surprisingly, she doesn't get mad at all. She starts signing, but it's different than usual. Shizune's hands move more slowly and the gestures are simpler. I quickly realize that this isn't sign language at all, but she's still attempting to communicate with me. So, is this the sign language equivalent of breaking it down in layman's terms? I'm terrified that if I attempt to gesticulate back, I'll just look like a total dumbass. The look on Shizune's face tells me that she is starting to think I'm trying to have any kind of back and forth like this is not exactly the best way to accomplish things. There has to be a better way. Writing on a pad? Well, I do have paper and a pencil. What else, though? Cell phones? I don't really have much use for mine here, so I barely carry it around, and I don't know if Shizune even has one. She takes the initiative, holding up a finger to ask for a pause before pulling out a pad and pen from her bag and writing a single word on it. Hello. I stare blankly at her and receive a similar but somehow more intimidating stare in response. She nudges the pad in my direction forcefully, clearly wanting me to reply. Good morning. Shizune beams with a disproportionate amount of happiness. She starts twirling her pen triumphantly as she thinks about where to go from here. Oh, come on, it's not like we just invented fire. Meh. Shizune pushes up her glasses curtly as if she had heard me, and then starts writing at a furious pace. Use the notepad. Right. I'm confused. Am I supposed to take it from her and write okay from okay now? This is about the furthest thing I could imagine from a smooth-flowing conversation, It makes me envy the ease with which Misha is able to communicate with Shizune. Are you studying for the test? I'm pretty sure I can get away with answering simple yes or no questions like this with nods. You are here very early. Most people sleep in late after the festival. That means you are abnormal. Is that so? You're here too. Before handing that response back to her, though, I remember that I'd noticed earlier and add, yesterday was fun. I noticed today that I built a lot of the stalls we went to. Maybe that's why they were so familiar. Was this another game? She shakes her head from side to side indignantly. No tricks. I thought that because you had made those stalls, they were the most important ones, we had to visit them because everyone should be able to appreciate the fruits of their labors. I wanted you to be able to see and enjoy what you had done. I'm sort of touched. Still, I have to wonder why she would go so out of her way, and I asked as much in my response. Because you were depressed. Oh. I want to say that I was depressed for days, but stop. It's true, I was moping quite a bit, and not being too subtle about it half the time either, so it's possible that she knew. Was everything she did just to cheer me up then? Thanks. I mumble it before I catch myself, but Shizune doesn't seem to care. I write it down instead, and she nods once as if unused to it. The silence between us grows more vast with each passing second, and there's nothing I can do to break it. Having to write everything down on paper kind of destroys any hope of trying to be casual. Good luck on the exam. Shizune pushes the pad right in front of my eyes, breaking my concentration, taking the initiative again as always. As she walks into the school building, I can't help feeling a little sad. That felt like the longest 20 minutes of my life, and all because it's so alien to me to have a face-to-face conversation with someone by passing notes to each other that I can't help coming up blank most of the time. Is that so unusual? Have you never passed notes in class? I would pass notes in class with people all the time. You gotta be quiet. It makes me want to learn sign language. That's easier said than done, although in a school like Yamaku they might very well have sign language classes. In that case, there would be little reason not to pursue this. The only person who I can think to ask at the moment is Misha. How badly do I want to know this? There's two options. Wait until class or go look for her now. I guess I'll go now, but I'm not certain where she is. My best bet would be to start searching for her in the girls' dorm though. After all, she wasn't with Shizune. That's probably the only place where she would be. A guy casually prowling around the girls' dorm early in the morning is unacceptable, but asking Misha about sign language classes in front of Shizune would be just unthinkable. She has to come to school sometime. After all, we're in the same class, so she too has to take this test. I mean, they just be running into your dorm room and into your actual room, and like, I don't think that you waiting outside the girls' dorm is as weird as what they'd be doing to you. And they'd be waltzing right in. They don't care. If I wait here, I'll be sure to see her sooner or later. I just hope she doesn't walk past me while I'm flipping through my notes. It turns out to be a pretty long wait. As students file into the school, I wonder if Misha's going to be late. Eventually I catch sight of her. While she bounces across the grounds, it hits me that I'd have to be blind to miss her with her incredibly distinctive hair.
Hi, Hee-chan. Good morning.
Morning. I don't have a lot of time left before class starts, so I cut directly to the chase. Hey, can I ask you a question?
A question? Okay, Hee-chan. Sure. I have time, but only because I'm late.
What does that mean?
Haha, I should have woken up earlier, but I was so tired. If I had, I would have to study, but since I didn't, it won't hurt. What is it, Hee-chan?
Well, there are sign language classes here, right?
Yep, they're electives. Why do you want to know, Hee-chan?
For some reason that question briefly makes me panic. For no reason, it sounds interesting, but I guess it's too late to sign up now, right? I'm not exactly being too subtle here, but Misha never seems to pick up on things like that anyway, so I'm probably being more cautious than it's necessary.
Oh well, Hee-chan, I've heard there are fewer and fewer students taking sign language every year, so if you want to, I'm sure they'll let you in. Are you thinking of learning sign language, Hee-chan?
Yeah.
If you learn sign language, Hee-chan, that would make Chi-chan really happy. If you want, we can go to the teacher's office after school. They'll probably let you in.
That would be great. Don't tell Shizune that I want to learn it, though.
Why not?
So it can be a surprise. Besides, it'll look bad if you tell her this morning and then I find out in the afternoon that I can't take the classes.
Aw, you're right, Hee-chan. Still, this'll be hard. It's such good news.
I'm in the student council, so I might as well try learning it. Even if it's just the basics, it'd be a step up from nothing. Besides, Shizune and I can't keep relaying everything through you as if you were a phone or something, right? Why not?
Wahahaha. You're right, Hee-chan.
The bell rings to signal the start of first period. Cutting our conversation short, I guess I'll just ask a teacher after classes are through. Her reaction was a little strange, but I forget about it as the day goes on. Yeah, she just sat there and stared at you for a full minute. That's a little odd.
Boo boo boo, boo boo boo, boo boo boo, boo boo.
The bell rings and the teacher at the front of the room gestures that classes are over for the day. Although getting into this class was surprisingly easy, it's only been a few days and I'm still not used to the experience. The actual signing is easier to pick up than I expected, but most of my classmates are hard of hearing. On top of that, the teacher favors immersion. I haven't heard her speak since I asked if I could take the class. It's an alien concept and really unnerving. The moment I step out of the classroom, I hear a familiar laugh explode through the air a short distance to my left.
Hi, Hee-chan.
Misha's not in my sign language class, so this is the first time I've seen her in this context. I still don't know whether her not being in my class is good or bad. It would be more interesting with her in it, but the potential for awkward situations would increase drastically. Hi.
It's a surprise to see you here, Hee-chan. Ah, that's right, you're taking sign language, aren't you? Right? What do you think of it so far, Hee-chan?
It's not easy to learn a new language, but I think I'm getting the hang of it. Despite how different it is from other languages, it's still easier than English. Most things are easier than English.
Haha, really, Hee-chan? I agree.
I was just joking, but she's apparently totally serious. I wonder how Misha can effortlessly translate things to me while simultaneously having a conversation with Shizune in a different language like she does. Until now, I've taken for granted how amazing it is. Someone bumps into my shoulder and apologizes. It's getting kind of crowded here, but with it being the end of the day and all. I think we should talk somewhere else instead of being in the hallway. Let's go to the roof or something.
Okay.
I decide to continue talking on the way. It's surprisingly quiet enough to carry on a conversation while doing so. It's still taking me some time to get used to having to look at the teacher constantly. I guess I took all those years of simply listening to the lectures while I doodled for granted. It makes taking notes a lot more difficult too. The introductory class is small and I'm already behind. I guess I have a lot of stuff to do. Yeah, this is much better. I turn around to look back at Misha and see her staring at me with her hands on her hips and her cheeks puffed outwards.
Hee-chan, you're behind. That's not good at all.
I started the class a week later than everyone else. It's not that bad.
Okay, Hee-chan, let's review what you learned then. I'll tutor you, okay?
This is the first time I've heard "I'll tutor you" used outside of dirty movies. Hisao, you need to chill. I'm not nearly as turned on as I'd have expected. What is up with Hisao? Why is he like this in this route? He's so weird. I don't know if I need a tutor yet.
Aw.
She looks more disappointed than usual. It makes me feel awkward to see her making that kind of face.
I want to be a sign language teacher, Hee-chan, but it would be really great if I could try tutoring someone in it first. Even if it's for a little while, the experience would be valuable.
Why do all these girls want to be teachers? Well, yeah, that's true. I didn't know you wanted to be a sign language teacher. It's hard to believe she isn't intentionally trying to make me feel guilty because she's very good at it. Still, it makes sense. She's very good at sign language already from what I've seen, and certainly has the voice for dealing with the hearing impaired. I never saw her as the teaching type, though.
Ha ha ha! It's the reason why I wanted to go to this school, Hee-chan. It's also really expensive to attend here, you know. Because I want to be a sign language teacher, I have reduced tuition fees. If it wasn't for that, I don't know if I'd be able to keep going here.
I see. It's not that I think you would be bad at tutoring, it's just that I don't know if I need it just yet.
You're right, Hee-chan. You're smart.
Well, no, that just makes me sound arrogant. Alright, please tutor me. Please, Mommy Misha, tutor me in the ways of sign language. What I was gonna say was bad, and I take it back.
Ahahaha, really? Okay. Okay. Yay, thanks, Hee-chan. I'll do my best. Let's start right now.
Too soon.
Meh. I miss Hee-chan.
Didn't you just see her this morning?
But it's hard to talk to her in class, Hee-chan. There's no student council today either.
Well, there have been exams all week. I'd be kind of mad if there was still student council. I'll be glad when they're over.
When it's back, you're not going to skip out, right, Hee-chan?
Of course, I'm in it after all. Don't worry, I'm not going to suddenly stop showing up. Promise is a promise. Misha pauses for a second, not looking very convinced.
Hee-chan takes the student council very seriously, Hee-chan. Now that you've joined, she works harder than before since she wants to make a good impression. Some other people joined at first, but they stopped coming soon after. Hee-chan tried to get more people interested in the student council, but wasn't successful. Even when someone would join, they'd stop coming eventually. They'd just make excuses and just put it off more and more until they stopped coming altogether. However, I believe that you really mean it, Hee-chan.
My eyes stay focused on her hands, tilting and moving almost on their own free will, softly signing everything she is saying to herself as she speaks.
When you said you would join, she was really happy. Hee-chan thinks you're interesting, Hee-chan. An uninteresting person won't have the drive needed to join. Even if they do, a person that isn't interesting will quit soon after. That's what Hee-chan said. So, it's my duty to make sure you keep going.
Is that why you want to tutor me? You're kind of sneaky.
Really, Hee-chan? That's the first time anyone has said that to me. Ha 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 ha.
There's no chance that I would avoid student council work now. Thinking back over the past few days, I've started to realize that the only reason I joined in the first place was because of Shizune. Her competitiveness and force of will are luring. Are they? I can't tell Misha that, though.
Okay, Hee-chan. Let's review what you learned in class today.
You don't even know what I learned in class today.
You're right, Hee-chan. Okay, let's start with the basics then. I'll just teach you everything from the beginning.
You're kidding, right?
Huh?
You're serious? That's like days of lessons, and we're not even learning on the same level.
It's like riding a bike, Hee-chan. You never forget the basics. Wahaha. I don't know how to ride a bike, though.
Oh no.
Right. I want to be a teacher one day, so of course I know what I'm doing. Okay. We're starting.
She looks like she's trying very hard, so this could be bad. Well, learning sign language is vastly different from teaching it, and the first step is usually the hardest part. Honestly, I couldn't do any better. Still.
Sign language was formally introduced in the 18th century by a Frenchman named, whose name I can't pronounce, and he started the first public school for the deaf in 1755. But the unwritten history of sign language is said to... I don't really know where to start. Sorry. Well, what better place to start than the history of sign language, right? Right? No, wait, maybe the alphabet. Okay, the alphabet it is then. Okay, Hee-chan. This is pretty basic stuff, although some people think that this is all of signing, and forget that there are all kinds of specific gestures and words. Although you can't really get anywhere else without the basics, this is A. Do you see it? Now you try.
I already know this, though. I humor her anyway.
Haha, yeah, that's it. Now this is B, and this is C.
Misha makes one symbol with each hand without specifying which is which.
And now, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, this is bad. Do you think Shizune wants to do some student council work today anyway? We could go.
Of course not, Hichan. Come on, I'll do it again. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. Your turn.
So there's really no student council work that needs doing or anything like that?
What are you talking about, Hichan? Come on, sign, sign.
Like this?
No, like this.
Like...
This.
Uh-huh.
I wish Hichan was here. This would be so much easier with her. Hahaha. That's how sign language is taught most of the time anyway, with 2 instructors. Did you know that, Hichan?
No. I let my brain run through what this would be like if Shizune were here.
Hichan, are you paying attention?
Yeah.
Hichan says that sign language is different from any other because you have to think about everything before you say it. That means every word has more weight. Every word has more weight, Hichan. Every single one is more important than normal. So pay attention, please.
She continues her basic rundown of the basics of sign language. Eventually she starts talking about stuff I start to recognize. In the end, I'm impressed. It took a bit of stumbling to get there, but as a teacher, she's pretty good when she's serious. After a while, I start to notice that it's getting late, so I thank Misha, bid her goodbye, and go back to my dorm. I learned a lot today. Oh! Okay. Well, I wasn't expecting such an abrupt ending there. I thought he was gonna say something else. Why do I keep waking up to thunderous jolts on my door?
I'm gonna leave it there. We are learning sign language, and that's kind of all that's happened. We had an exam, I guess. And you can see that Misha is starting to feel left out. And that is sad, and I don't like that. And, we will learn more sign language from Misha in the next video.